Sorry, my brain she's not doing great today.
I mean, does it ever?
No.
I mean, not as like an attack or a targeted attack, but like...
It's true.
It's definitely after a concert that it's even worse.
Well, I mean, just normally my brain doesn't work very well on a typical day, so that's about par the course.
I mean, it's definitely after a concert that I'm useless. I've discovered.
Yeah. And I mean, we had 3 in 10 days, so I think there's enough data there to be able to determine that.
Yeah. But, hey guys.
Oh, hi.
We're back.
Howdy.
So this is Ash.
This is Libby.
And this is Two Messages from Texas.
Yeah.
And welcome to our first mini.
Yeah. We're gonna, instead of our normal podcast sessions with Two Messages from Texas, where we're discussing comebacks for the month and any noteworthy things that we think is worth discussing, we're gonna focus more on a specific artist or group for the mini and why we think you should check them out more, pay more attention to them.
Yeah.
So it's a mini TED Talk.
Right.
On a specific person. No right infringement, though.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I think, too, it's more of an excuse for us just to talk about people that we really adore.
Yeah.
And groups we really adore. You know, because sometimes I think they'll be super well known, maybe. Mm-hmm. You know, because we're not limiting ourselves to not talking about those.
No, we like a lot of different things. That includes popular people and groups, not necessarily unpopular, but maybe more
or lesser known.
Yeah, lesser known. Thank you.
Yeah.
Words.
Yeah.
I am not the best at English. It's my only language right now. But
right, same. But yeah, lesser known groups or artists or just ones that maybe have been around for a while and they don't, in our opinion, get the recognition they deserve. And so we just want to talk about them because we have a lot of love and word vomit that we want to get out and across.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. So that's kind of what the minis will be like. And, you know, I hope it'll be fun.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Because I know when, I'm sure you guys maybe have seen on our channel, when we get really excited, we get a little slappy, we get a little
physical,
we get a little hype. So
animated, very much so.
Yeah. So for today's episode, we are going to open up our first mini and discuss Yuna.
Yes, which is a newer artist to me, but everything that you've shown me so far of her, I like, and she's very diverse, which I immediately like an artist.
Yeah, she's very diverse. She's been around for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. She's fantastic. She has a wonderful, I think, presence about her when she performs, and also, of course, her audio recording on her albums and her you know, her discography. I just think her voice is so special and it's so unique, and she brings, because she does quite a lot of features as well.
I noticed that when I was looking through her discography on Spotify. I noticed that there's a lot of features, which is great because it means that obviously music professionals also think she's very diverse because it's a lot of different genres of artists.
Correct, yeah. And she's actually a singer-songwriter and producer herself. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's got the chops to back up her talent, her vocal talent. So, you know, she's just very, very interesting. I think she's interesting.
Yeah.
So I think with these, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a background, brief. We're not going to get creepy into it. Like, we're not gonna go ahead and like give y'all like their blood type and give you their like shoe size. We're not gonna go into that level. We're just gonna kind of give you a brief overview, and then we're gonna just have a chat the way we usually do about the artist, what we like, maybe even if there are things that we don't necessarily jive with. We're gonna mention that too because we're candid here. We like to make sure that we're 100% honest.
Correct.
and that we're very upfront. And then we'll probably throw a few song recs at you just to make sure that, you guys have some starting points if you've never heard of the artist or groups that we're talking about. We just want to kind of give you some starting points of where we think, the artist in particular really shines, and songs we really gravitated towards.
Correct.
So, to start off, I'll give you a little bit of background with Yuna. She, like I mentioned before, she's a singer-songwriter and producer. She's also an actress.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, she's acted in a few productions. She is under C9 Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So she debuted in Korea in 2006.
Wow.
Interestingly enough, and I feel like in my experience perhaps, and with just kind of being in and around the industry and in the community, as long as I have been, I feel like this isn't a super common thing. Not to say it doesn't happen, but it's just not crazy common.
Yeah.
She actually debuted in Japan before she debuted in Korea.
That is interesting.
She debuted in Japan in 2004, and then in Korea in 2006. So she's more well known in Japan than she is in Korea. She has a cute little nickname in Japan, which essentially is to credit her skyrocketing on the Japan music charts. And so her name is Go Yuna. So of course she just is known as Yuna. Yeah. And she's born in April of 1988 in Seoul.
Okay.
And she began loving and learning music at a very young age. I think it was around like 5. She started learning piano, and she can also play guitar, and I believe traditional drums as well.
That's pretty cool.
She dropped out of school, if I remember right, around 16 to pursue her career in music. And I feel, again, now I'm kind of taking some creative license here, I believe. I feel she became more accessible in Korea to a wider span, a wider audience, more modern audience in Korea when she collaborated with Namjoon, RM from BTS, with Winter Flower.
Gotcha.
On her album Unstable Mindset. It's a great album. It's a fantastic album. I actually have that physical album, and
that's cool.
Beautiful. So, yeah, that's kind of just a brief backstory to kind of understand a little bit more about her. She started very young, and she's just, in my opinion, she's holding steady. She's continuing. She's evolving. She's growing.
Yeah.
She is kind of blossoming.
Well, I think just the sheer fact that she's been on the music scene since, you said 2004 in Japan, 2006 in Korea.
Correct.
And the fact that if you go to her Spotify, there's a lot of not only, she has 6 full-length albums I saw. 2001 November was her latest album. But she also has a lot of singles. She has some minis and some EPs, and she also does a lot of work with animes and with soundtracks. So
she does.
To me, that means that if you're an artist and you have that kind of a repertoire, it means that not only are you getting booked and people want to hear what you have to offer, but you yourself also have a lot of different styles that you want to focus on. And she's been given the opportunity to do that. So it gives her a very broad background to work with and a good foundation to work with.
Right. I agree completely. She's very, very talented with her discography, and you'll see later in the recs that we provide that she's very, like Libby mentioned before, she's very diverse. Her variations are very, for me, they're very fun in the sense that you can almost track trends in her history, in her discography.
That's interesting.
And her early discography, you'll see a lot of rock influence.
Yes.
And I think that also could come with her background more in Japanese music and her love of Japanese music and
right.
and
like J-rock and stuff.
Exactly. And in being so involved in that. And for me, I think, and maybe, I don't know if it's just us, like you and I, specifically speaking to our personal history,
Yeah.
or if it's just kind of the same with everybody. But I feel like when you're younger, you kind of go through that rebellious phase, and rock becomes.
I think that's a major keystone for a lot of
yeah.
people. And if it's not rock, it's some kind of music genre, and especially lyric and content wise, that's very much against the status quo and against the establishment,
Yeah.
whatever that may be it parents, government,
Right.
the music scene, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You're pushing back against
Yeah, exactly.
what's established.
Exactly. You know, if your parents are really set against, you don't listen to hip hop and R&B or rap, then you do that.
Right.
Or if they're against you listening to grunge and punk and rock, then you do that. Or punk, grunge, whatever itself stands for, you know.
Correct.
Usually going against the man, you know,
Yeah.
all of that. So yeah, I feel like when you're growing up, you kind of have these moments, these like turning points in your music, because I feel like most people have music as a guide, as a you know, a timeline, a lifeline throughout their history.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they can mark big moments with the music that they're listening to.
I absolutely agree with that. I think it goes for art in general and the
Right.
human experience.
Right.
But music is a very easy and accessible way, especially in this day and age, for people to convey their own thoughts and emotions,
Right.
connect with art, connect with other people, and feel like they're not alone with whatever they're feeling or going through. So
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
yeah.
And I think you see that trend a lot in Yuna's work. And for me, I see, I don't know, I just feel very comfortable there, because you can see that humanity
Yeah.
in her work.
Right.
And not to say you can't see that with other artists, for sure, but I just think because she has that long history, she's been around for so long,
Right.
and she's experimented so much with her sound and with her, you know, you see her finding herself, you see her finding her sound, her color, her musical voice. You see that process.
That's cool.
With her trends.
Yeah.
In her music. And I just think that's really fun as a viewer, as an audience member, as a fan. You see that.
Right.
And I just think that's a really fun experience to kind of go along with the artist, with them.
I agree. I love the thing about getting older is all the stuff that you liked previously you can take with you if it still resonates with you, and if you still want that kind of a connection to a previous time. Sometimes you don't, and you sacrifice things that you loved at one point because that's not the person you are anymore.
Right.
Or the memories it's associated with get tainted, whatever the case may be.
Right.
That totally happens too. I know for sure that's happening. It's happened for every single person. I know it has.
Yeah.
But being able to not only grow with the artist, but go back to their work and remember where you were when you first heard that, and where, you know, especially if it came out around the same time that you started listening to it. I think that's a really cool experience, and being able to grow with an artist as you both age.
Yeah.
And you both have similar progressions in life to a certain extent. Everyone grows at their own pace, of course, but art can resonate with a lot of people for different reasons.
And now I'm interested, because obviously I've kind of been, not necessarily, I mean, a little bit growing up with Yuna, but for you as a newer fan, I'm interested kind of what's been your take, your experience on getting to know her, having had this wide range of discography at your fingertips. What's that been like for you to kind of pick and choose and dive into it?
Well, for me, I feel like it is for a lot of the artists that I'm getting into and have been over the past couple years, where I find out that they have a lot larger of a discography than I originally anticipated when I started liking a certain song from an artist. For me, whenever I start connecting with new music and I have a lot to go through, it's exciting because, okay, great, I have this giant palette I can pick and choose from on what I like, and I don't have to try to see if I can make it work because there's not too much of their music. it is what it is, but inevitably I always find an artist where I like one song of theirs and I really, really like it. And then I go through their discography and I'm like, oh, so that's the only song of theirs that I like. Mm-hmm. That happens to me quite a bit.
Got you.
But for me, for Yuna, there's been multiple songs that I like, and
they've been off of multiple albums.
They've been off multiple albums with different eras for her, and for me, I like that because they, it's basically like copy paste into my music collection / mental history of my own life and connection with music, and so I basically just, okay, this rock song, I like this. It goes in this little area for me.
Right.
And even though certain music, what's the word I'm looking for? Subjects might not resonate with me anymore because I'm not that particular person. It doesn't mean I can't have nostalgia or be like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of a certain time in my life. So I still fall in love with it because I'm not that person anymore. But
you remember that person.
I remember that person, and there's an underlying basis.
That person still turned into who you are now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely understand.
That person might not exist anymore, but current me would not exist without that person.
Right. And I think that's awesome how music can do that. And especially us as Western fans coming into an Eastern music world, that music can still do that resonation, even in a different language, I think is really, really cool.
Because music, we say it all the time, music is universal. Just because math is a language that works across pretty much every language.
Right.
I think music is the same way. Even if you don't understand what the lyrics are saying at first, we now have such accessible technology where we can look up what the meanings are and look up what people who speak that language naturally translate it into.
Right.
To where in this day and age with technology at our disposal the way that it is, more than ever, music is 1,000% universal.
I completely agree. It was actually really poignant, I think, to this. I'm trying to find it now. Yuna actually made on Twitter, she tweeted something regarding, she said, sad that I can't sing in all languages, but music makes you feel the same thing.
Correct.
And I just felt like that alone, it really not only speaks to our message as Starland and like what we have been trying to emphasize to people who don't understand why we love this music so much and why it's so powerful and important to us. But I think that it's really refreshing to see it come from the artist.
Agreed.
That makes the music that's so powerful to us. It's really, it just, for me, it was a moment of like she was too stunned to speak kind of a thing.
Like you felt seen.
I did. I felt very seen. And the fact that it came from Yuna, someone that's very near and dear to my heart as an artist.
I can understand that.
It was just I was like, she gets it. She gets me. That was a great moment for me. And I completely love that that's the direction we're heading. That music is entirely universal. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy how it makes you feel.
Agreed. Yeah, music is another language to convey the human experience.
It really is. I know we mentioned, and especially you've mentioned, with Yuna in particular, her features.
Yeah.
And, she does OSTs. She's done anime, like intros and things. But with her features, I'm interested to know from your end, especially since you're newer to K-pop and you're into the Eastern music scene and you're getting into it.
Yeah.
If you see an artist, say, for example, like she's worked with Tableau a few times. Yeah. She's worked with...
Grey So Grey was the most recent one that she worked with them on.
That was on part 2 of Epic High's album, and it was fantastic.
We listened to that. I remember listening to that.
Yes. Tiger JK is another big name in the Korean music world. He's actually one of the ones that, BB.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like taken her under his wing and like signed her. And, she was actually on the song Love Belt, which is off of Jongin from SHINee on his bass album. she was on Suho from EXO, his self-portrait album.
Very interesting.
For You Now is the song that she's a feature on. So my question to you is, as someone who's new, I wouldn't say you're new anymore, you're newer.
Yeah.
When you see maybe these bigger names and you see a feature, does that entice you more?
Absolutely.
To explore that artist that's featuring?
Absolutely. Because to me, it's not only just kind of a sign off by the artist, but the artist is clearly a big enough fan or big enough, they have enough respect for that artist to want to work with them.
Right.
And if they're big and it's an artist that I haven't heard of, one, that doesn't mean that they're not big too.
Right.
But for me, it's like, oh, I like this person's sound. I like this person's message. I like a lot of things about this person, so I pay attention to this artist.
Right.
Let's go see what this other artist that they're co-signing is about to see if I like more of their stuff.
And then it branches on from there.
Exactly.
And the cycle continues.
Yeah.
And so would you say it's also the same in reverse? For example, with Yuna featuring Namjoon.
Yes.
So, and you obviously know Namjoon and you're like...
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, cool, he's featured on Yuna's track. So now I'm more interested and I want to pay more attention to her to see why would Namjoon agree to such a project.
Oh, definitely.
And for those of you who don't know, I told Libby about this the other day, last night. Namjoon was actually really geeked when Yuna asked him to feature on the Winter Flower track, which is really cute. It's just, you know, you think of these bigger names being so excited to be a fan again, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like to be a fan of somebody.
Well, it definitely humanizes them.
Right.
And it reminds you that, you know, just because they're a big artist doesn't mean that they still don't geek out over music. In fact, if they don't, it usually means that they're hitting a certain level of maybe pretentiousness or maybe closing themselves off from, I guess, being humble to a certain extent, that for me personally, I go,
it's a drawback.
You know, I still might enjoy your content. I still might be a fan and like and respect you, but I definitely clock those things.
Same.
And if it can, I don't want to say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because on a certain level, it kind of doesn't matter. People are allowed to do whatever they want with their lives, and they're allowed to have whatever approach they want to their life.
Right.
But I appreciate and enjoy artists who still have a zest for life and a zest for music.
And their passion and their...
And that can be good and bad emotions. Agreed. You can have very, very heavy negative emotions, but you are so passionate about how you feel about them that you're going to go all out and you're going to make a wrecking ball of an album. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry that you're going through those things, and I hope it helps you heal, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
If you get to a certain level where you only look at music through the scheme of numbers and you don't care
about stats and data,
you don't care about the humanity aspect of it anymore, the art.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of like bleaches the music. It like strips it away of a lot of the things that make me so excited about music.
I agree.
And I can only speak for myself again. But
I completely agree. Yeah, I'm definitely the type of person where I cannot separate the artist from the craft. It's a package deal for me. So, and I think that's another reason why the artist that I go hard for, and that I praise and I talk about. I really do it with so much love and sincerity, and I really do it with excitement and eagerness to get people to, even if it's listen to just a few, you know, seconds of a track, and hopefully it sparks something. You know, it's just because there's so much talent out there that I feel like is being missed.
Agreed.
And so with Yuna, like, for example, I think about this all the time. For some reason, it just pops into my head, but for example, the track that RM is on, Namjoon's on, Winter Flower, is on her album called The Unstable Mindset. And she had released another album as like a partner series called The Stable Mindset.
Interesting.
And the album covers are like, you know, sister covers. Unstable Mindset is like a purpley blue, you know, kind of darker And then the stable mindset is beige, but it's light. It's almost like daylight, like dawn has risen.
Right.
It's just more, things like this, like I get obsessed over.
Yeah.
Just the details and the thought and the intricacy and the planning and the storyline that's laid out. And I really do, for some reasons, I just think about it. I just randomly, it'll pop in my head and be like, oh my God, just the pairing of those albums is so beautiful. And so things like that are really, they resonate with me.
No, I understand. I like when artists do that too. I like them going out of their way to make a piece of work stand on its own but have a companion that can also stand on its own, but it goes with it. It's like two sides to the same coin.
Exactly what it is.
Like sometimes in order for you to get stable, you have to be unstable for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. And and her voice, y'all, I know I mentioned it a little bit before that it's special, but the only real way I can describe it is that it's delicate and
that was the word that I was going to say too.
Yeah, it's delicate. It's like butterfly wings.
Yeah.
It's
like a cool breeze on a hot summer day.
It really is. I really
refreshing.
And you would think with that kind of a description, and we mentioned a rock energy earlier, you would think that kind of doesn't vibe.
But you would be wrong.
But it does.
You would be wrong. If you have ever listened to like Evanescence or groups where there is a female vocalist with heavy rock back, just because you have a feminine or delicate voice doesn't mean that you can't have grit that goes along with it and that you can't feel things in a heavy way.
Right. Yeah, I know one of Libby's recommendations for songs is one of these tracks that has quite a kick up with an incredible guitar and incredible instrumentals that have amazing rock background. But it's so good, y'all.
It really is.
When I played it for Libby, she was like, please favorite that immediately.
I think we were 15 seconds in when I said that. So yeah, there's certain sounds sonically and then also approaches to music where the moment I hear them, I'm immediately I'm in. I'm sold. Done. And that's one of them.
Yes.
That was, like I mentioned Evanescence earlier, but that was a group that I was definitely obsessed with when I was young, like 10, 11, through 13, 14, pretty much. I still listen to certain songs from them, even though I'm not that kid anymore. And the moment I started hearing that, it immediately brought me back to that and done.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And there's just something, again, that's so powerful about music on your timeline, your personal timeline. And I absolutely love the journey that Yuna's taken. Her music is, you would think that, I feel like a lot of female soloists get the rap of being ballad singers.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're very soft and they're very gentle and that they can't really provide you much of anything else. And so maybe that's why people don't gravitate towards them.
Right. Right. It's kind of like dismissing them right out the gate before giving them a chance because you think it's going to be one genre of music.
Exactly. And while there is possibly some truth to that stereotype, obviously you have female soloists out there like Hyolyn who give you like hoe anthem, you know what I mean, like ass shaking hoe anthems. You have other female soloists out there like Chungha, who give you some like dance beats. You know what I mean? You have female soloists out there that totally break that mold. So CL, right? Exactly. You have female soloists out there that there shouldn't be a mold. I think what I'm trying to say.
Definitely. Don't put artists in a box before giving them a chance. And even if a certain album is in that box, it doesn't mean that they can't do a new concept with another album or with a feature. That's just like expecting any human being to stay in a certain box their entire life. It's kind 100%. Well, very one-dimensional.
Yes, exactly. And I think Yuna's a really great example of that.
Yeah.
You know, she's diverse and fun. She's so fun to listen to, y'all.
But, you know, at the same time, if someone stays in that box, you know, musically or sonically, because that's what they're good at and that's what they enjoy doing, there's no problem with that either. And of course, it doesn't have to work for you. That's totally fine. But it's more just let yourself be surprised. Don't just immediately write off something.
Exactly. It's not, and I completely also understand the mindset of, well, I don't have the time to listen to all the music you do, Ashley. I get that. That's why I'm here to help narrow it down for you.
If my work recommendation or word means anything.
Yes. That's why I'm here to hopefully give you some more description, some more info, and to maybe help guide a little bit. I hope that that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm wanting to make it more varied. And that's why we're doing some boy groups here, some, you know, female soloists there, some Chinese groups here, some, you know what I mean? We're trying to mix it up and make sure we stay varied, because we really do have so much love and you know, excitement for all different types of music.
Correct.
So I think now I just kind of want to pop down my track list here.
Sure.
And you too.
Sure.
How many did you have, you said?
3.
3? Okay. So do you want to go every other, or do you want me to just go off mine?
Yeah, we can do every other.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Or I'll go. Actually, I'll go first. I have more.
Yeah, go.
So my first one is going to be Spring.
Nice. Okay.
That one, it's so almost haunting to me. Her voice is so light and airy in that song. I just love it. And the instrumentals are beautiful.
Nice. Supersonic. That was the one that I told Ashley to favorite for me 3 or 15 seconds in. And like you said, she's got a very delicate voice on top of some heavier and, you know, just more eclectic rock music, and it builds over time.
It does.
And she's got pipes, so...
And that guitar solo.
I mean...
So good. My next recommendation is Rescue. And that is, I believe, the title track off of her album, Rescue.
Nice.
Which, that whole album, honestly, in itself, y'all, is really good. I believe I have another recommendation off that album, too. So, clearly, I love it. So, Rescue is my next one.
Nice. Okay. Mine is actually one that you said reminds you of me, which is Sea Child.
Oh, Sea Child. I love...
That's off Just Listen.
I love that song.
It's a really sweet song, and
it really does remind me of Libby every single time I hear it.
Which makes me emo.
Libby is absolutely like my pocket mermaid. Like, she is the epitome of like a wave. Like, if I could put her in like a pretty little glass sphere and like have it be a permanent wave, like, that's Libby.
Babe, that's so sweet. Thank you.
So Sea Child is 100% her. That song is stunning.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with water and the sea. I'm obsessed with a lot of things. I'm definitely a very nature heavy person, even though you probably wouldn't know it looking at me or hearing the way that I talk normally. But we all have nuance and we all have layers. So that's one of mine. Yeah, we are onions. That's one of mine. I am obsessed with water.
Oh, I'm so glad you said Sea Child. I'm really honestly glad that you really like that song.
I do. It was very sweet and like a siren song.
Yeah.
Like a very, very pretty and very operatic siren song.
Yes. The next one I believe is also, I don't have the actual like Spotify listing in front of me, but I'm almost 100% sure this is off of the Rescue album as well. This is Feel.
It is.
Is that featuring Changmo?
Chancellor.
Oh, Chancellor, I'm sorry. The other C. Chancellor. Chancellor's also an amazing soloist, by the way, y'all. But yes, Feel featuring Chancellor. That's another great song.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. You played a lot yesterday for me, actually. And before that too, because I've listened to Gray So Gray before. Winter Flower, we said it multiple times, but it really is a gorgeous track. And the juxtaposition between her delicate voice singing and Namjoon's kind of more soft rap with this, and just more, I don't want to say muted because that implies like it washes away a lot of expression and color, but just more subdued, like he's reining it in,
right?
Because this is not only her track, but off of the Unstable Mindset album, he's like kind of accompanying her as she's dealing with this song,
right? And he's definitely a melodic rap.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It's really good.
Really liked it.
My next recommendation is Rainy Night.
You have my attention.
It's a very atmospheric song. It's one of those songs that puts you in a scene.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, like the Foley stage was used to create this song. Like, it's very much you know how some songs, like Libby and I actually discuss this a lot, where we have different perspectives on where we place ourselves, because both of us are very, I think, imagery heavy. We're both very visual people.
Yes.
When it comes to describing music, we place ourselves in the song. We place ourselves in an environment that the song makes us feel.
I think that's because we're empathetic people.
Right.
So because of that, I mean, because it's not just with music, with essentially anything that I ever hear or I'm learning about, I'm trying to imagine myself either dealing with that or trying to work through something with it. And that includes things like even math. So if I'm learning about math, I am not only working a problem, but I'm mentally in my head in the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I like math so much, but that's a discussion for a different time.
Exactly. But yeah, so Libby and I have that in common. And I think it's really interesting because we have that type of thought process in common, but our thoughts specifically are so varied and different. And I think it's really fun to talk with her about what we feel.
I agree.
Regarding songs. Like, we had a discussion on the way home last night from Pew and Harmony about Sunmi's Noir and how, like, what we felt that song energy was. And it was just so fun to have that conversation with you.
I agree.
And I think Rainy Night, what she does is she takes that guesswork out of it.
Okay.
So it's an atmospheric song, but she kind of forces an imagery on you.
I like those too.
I was gonna say, which I don't think is a bad thing.
I feel like that's kind of, if you know the movie Inception, where whenever they wake up in a dream, it's the middle of the dream. Exactly. And it's just, I mean, that's how it is whenever you sleep. Whenever your brain starts recognizing that you're dreaming, you're in the midst of it.
Yes.
I like a song that picks you up, drops you in a setting, and is like, deal with this now.
Yes. And that's exactly what this is. You definitely feel like you've like opened your eyes and you are where she's placed you.
Yeah.
And it's, as the name would imply, Rainy Night, you're in that kind of a moment. It's just very atmospheric. It's very much a wonderful experience, I think, to listen to, especially with her vocals that you are blessed with.
I can imagine. I mean, I liked her voice so much on Sea Child. I can imagine.
Yeah.
With more moody water settings, I would also personally enjoy that.
Yes. And then you didn't have any others, right?
No.
You're okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you're fine.
And then the final recommendation I have is Dark Cloud. I believe that one's also off the Unstable Mindset album. I think Rainy Night was off of Stable Mindset, and then Dark Cloud is off of Unstable Mindset. And Dark Cloud is just go listen to it. It's just so good.
It's funny.
I love her. I love her music. I love her voice. I love her energy. I love her entire gift that she gives us with her albums. And with that being said, y'all, she is coming out with her newest album is In Theory. That was her 6th album. She is doing a repackage of that album. It's called In Theory Final Edition. and it, I believe, releases March 30th.
Oh, that's exciting. I remember you saying that it was coming out soon, but I didn't realize it was that soon.
Yes.
That's very exciting.
Yes. And so she's doing the teasers right now for it, for like the music video title track, I believe, on that one.
Nice.
It's very, for those who are going to be geeked like Libby, from what I've seen of the concept photos and what I've seen of like the CDs and things for the package breakdown, if you want to go ahead and pre-order that on any of your local, K-pop shops, it's very spacey. It's very space themed.
Yep.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I'm an immediate whore for space.
Yeah.
And water. There's a lot of concepts I'm immediately drawn to, but yeah, space is...
Yeah. It's a big one.
When I die, I either want my like ashes or my body put in the ocean or launch it into space.
Either way.
Or
up or down.
Up or down. As above, so below.
Yeah.
Or for my funeral, just make a little Muppet version of me and have that be in the casket.
Oh my God. There are so many things. That's a lot to unpack.
I love Muppets too, you guys.
So, highly recommend y'all check out her Repackage album. In theory, the actual album itself, that has already come out, beautiful, beautiful album. I played TikTok for Libby, and because she loves TikTok, and
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, the song itself is more of like a TikTok for a clock.
Yes,
it's another beautiful song, y'all.
No, it's a great song.
I just love that album. I love her. Anytime I see Yuna coming out with anything new, I get geeked. I get so excited. I'm the Tyler the Creator tweet where I'm like, I will not shut up about this. Yeah. Unfollow me now. It's all I'm going to talk about for the next ever. Like, that's me. So please just, follow her on her socials. Go, follow her on YouTube. Check her out on YouTube.
Yeah.
On Spotify. You will not regret it. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Your faves love her. Your faves have probably worked with her either as a producer, as a songwriter, or as a feature. Maybe you just haven't recognized it yet. If she's not familiar to you. If she is familiar to you, please let me know. I would love to discuss with you. I would love to talk to you about Yuna. And we can band together and get more people on our side.
Sounds good. We always need more people supporting great artists.
100%.
So they can continue to feed us.
100%. And they need to know that they're appreciated.
Yeah, agreed.
They need to know that we see their hard work and we see their passion and the energy and the time and effort they put into their craft.
Agreed.
I think that will sign off on the Yuna discussion for today.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do to end these minis is we want to go ahead and just throw out a little bit of positivity for the community and for the Eastern music world. So we're gonna go ahead and just mention one little news article that we found that kind of just made us happy to see in recent times. So do you want to mention yours?
Sure. So there is quite a lot of people who have been donating emergency relief funds in support of Ukraine. I mean, just the most immediate ones that are popping up. Parkasan, Han Jimin, Girls' Day Hyeri, and that's just the most recent ones, like literally, I think in the past, not even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's been many more. I'm not going to go through each name because I know I'm going to mispronounce it, and I'm not trying to do that. Plus, I'm sure I'm going to overlook a name if I try and do every single one, because there's been a huge outpouring of support, not only from the Eastern music community, but from a lot of people in the world for Ukraine and for the people who are suffering from that entire situation right now. And I think I love seeing when humans band together, regardless of differences, what we have going on in our normal daily grind of a life. But borders don't matter. We're all people.
Yeah, we're all human.
Yeah,
we all have the human struggle.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really great news. I think that's really positive and uplifting. I love seeing when people just have the generosity to they're
Agreed.
privileged and they're fortunate, and they can return some of that to
Agreed.
people that need it.
I love seeing that.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
great.
sure if you were a fan who lives in that area that's being impacted,
That would be so...
and you see something like that, I can imagine how that must feel.
Oh, that would be so heartwarming.
I can imagine.
That would make me an emotional bitch.
Absolutely.
That would make me
Absolutely.
sob.
I mean, just in terms of events that we have lived through, whenever Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, and not only Houston, it was over 260 counties in Texas, and that doesn't count Louisiana or anyone else who might have been directly impacted by it. There was a ton of local celebrities in our area and also big name people who were donating and trying to help with the cause, and
that was very touching.
Yeah, exactly.
For us who
were impacted.
Who suffered and who lost, big or small, who lost things.
Agreed.
And that was a lot. So great work for that. To all who are donating or supporting, or even if you can't donate, who are just sharing links to help get the awareness out, and that's just wonderful.
There's a lot of different ways to help, big or small.
Yeah.
And that also goes for your direct community that you live in. There's a lot of things, if you pay attention to your local community, you can see that there's a lot of people that need help, and if you're able to extend anything to those people too, it makes a big difference.
It does. And for my sign-off news, I just wanted to mention something that's really not as hugely groundbreaking as that, but
it doesn't mean it's not good news.
Yes, it's good news, I think, for a lot of people who remember 2NE1. But they had a reunion. They reunited to celebrate Park Bom's new single, Flower. And, to see them all together in one photo and one video, it's just really heartwarming.
Yeah.
So I think that is really great news. And it's really happy when you can see a disbanded group come together and just still show that they have a friendship still.
Absolutely. It makes you appreciate all that music that they've already put out even more, because you know that connection is real. There. It's real.
Yeah. It's genuine. Yeah. That the support they have for each other even now is genuine. Right.
And there's nothing wrong with things just being a business relationship. It is what it is. Not everyone is best friends. Not everyone there are personality conflicts. There are human being brain conflicts. 100%. I mean, it is what it is.
100%.
And on a certain level, I really respect the hell out of you if you can put those differences aside and make it happen. Work and still show up every single day, essentially, without making too much of a ruckus. Just being mature enough to do that. I do have a giant bit of respect for you.
Same.
But because, as I mentioned earlier, we are empathetic people. For us personally, and I think a lot of people are like this. You love seeing the people that you enjoy the music from. You like seeing that they like each other.
Right. You like knowing that you're not listening to a lie, essentially.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's the biggest thing.
I understand.
But yeah, no, I completely agree. If you can go into work with someone, if you genuinely have a discord with them, and it's bad enough that you genuinely don't get along, and it's a real issue.
Yeah.
And you can suck it up and you can go in and do that every day. Shit. Props. That takes a lot.
Yeah.
That takes a lot.
Especially whenever you're making music and you're trying to make yourself vulnerable.
Because that's a lot of hours together behind the scenes for practicing, for recording, for rehearsing.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So, yeah, I completely understand and respect that. But yeah, so they reunited, and that was just really heart-fluttering.
Yeah,
that was really sweet. It was really sweet. So I think we'll end it on a happy little light note.
I agree. There's enough heartache in the world.
Yeah. We want to keep it a little happy, a little light. All about positivity and...
Yeah. Because there's a lot of heartache, but there's a lot of good stuff too. Yeah. And it really is the little things that help make a difference. We just have to focus on them.
I think sometimes we forget about the good stuff.
Well, that's your brain.
Well,
The human
yes.
brain is made to remember bad stuff because
Right.
it's like, hey, don't eat those berries. They killed Bob.
Well, right.
So remember that. Like, your brain is built to do that. So for human beings, and now in a world where we have too much technology at our disposal, we have
Right.
too much anxiety with everything.
Me.
We have to remember and force ourselves to take a step back and recognize the good things. And if you do it often enough, it becomes a habit and your life improves. So
Exactly.
that's my TED Talk for the day about the human brain.
Exactly. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed our first mini. I think we had fun filming it or recording it, shall I say.
I agree.
And we will be back. You'll get the minis once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Surprise, it was way easier than we thought it was going to be. So sorry to the YouTube exclusive. I don't think too many people are heartbroken about that,
I
though.
don't either.
So I
don't either. But we will still keep uploading our podcast on YouTube for those who do not have access to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So don't worry, we will still give you access there.
Yeah, you just have multiple platforms now to access us. You're welcome.
Yeah, we're trying to make it easy for everybody. So with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off, guys.
Agreed, yeah. It was fun. Y'all take care.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.